There was an uninvited guest in the house. The dog quickly went through a hole to run away. Bumblebee imitated the dog. But when his head put into the hole, the door fell down. He turned 45 degrees to come into the room. He just stood up and almost broke a light bulb. He had never seen anything like this. Everything was so new for him. When seeing a soft drink can on the table, he just picked it up. However, the can was broken and splashed over his face. That made Bumblebee rush back. He carelessly crashed into the TV shelf. After kicking the dog out of the room, he wanted to sit down on the sofa to watch TV. Unexpectedly, the sofa was broken into two halves. Bumblebee saw a coffee machine on the table, took it up to his nose and smelt. He turned the hands of a small clock. But he didn't expect coffee to flow out of the coffee machine. He tried to stop the flow but he couldn't. So he pulled both the machine and the wire out. After the dog taught him, he found out an electrical outlet. He stuck his finger in the outlet. Extremely strong electricity transmitted through wires caused utility poles to explode. Charlie received the news and quickly returned to her house. She rode a motorcycle like the wind. She pushed the door open and the sight made her bewildered. She went to the basement to check and saw a yellow car. She leaned over and touched it. A fender fell off, so did another car part. Charlie got under the car and used a flashlight to check. And eventually, she found Bumblebee's face. He instantly turned back into a robot. At that time, before Charlie was afraid of him, Bumblebee was afraid of her, and rapidly ducked into the corner to look at her with wide eyes. She gently touched Bumblebee, and then the two became each other's best friends. In order not to be discovered by others, Charlie took Bumblebee to practice at the beach. When there was someone, and when there was no one. When something unexpected happened, he had to hide behind a rock like Charlie. But Bumblebee turned into a car. It was time for Bumblebee to apply his exercise to a new mission. Charlie led Bumblebee to a house of her classmate, who used to bully Charlie to get revenge. The three threw tissues on a tree. Bumblebee could imitate it right away. He took a whole bag of tissues, and threw it straight on the tree. Memo then took a pack of eggs and taught Bumblebee how to use eggs to throw at a car. Bumblebee did very well. At this time, he came up with a good idea. He took 2 packs of eggs, and then made an egg mask and massaged the car. Memo and Charlie had so much fun. Bumblebee was also excited and stomped on the car to flatten it. The more he played, the more thrilled he became. Suddenly, an alarm bell rang. Charlie found that the situation was not good, so she signaled Bumblebee to hide. Bumblebee also imitated them. He raised the car, hid after it. His hand held his head. Only then did Bumblebee remember his practice. And he transformed into a car to drive the other two to escape. He was too scared, so he sped up to 180 kilometers per hour. Unfortunately, police officers on the side of the road noticed him and chased him. He turned to a cliff. He grabbed hold of the guard rail and started to slide. That created sparks all the way. When the police cars were about to catch up with him, his seats were immediately lowered. The cops saw it and thought it was a self-driving car. The police car got closer and closer. Bumblebee had no choice, so he turned into a small car. He climbed the wall, turned around and sat on the police car. That made tires of the police car broken. The three went on running away. Besides, Shatter and Dropkick also came to the Earth and pretended to cooperate with humans. One side desired to own advanced alien weapons. The other wanted to take advantage of satellites to find out Bumblebee. Both sides cooperated with their own conspiracy. After that, the two used military satellites and quickly located Bumblebee. So they easily knocked down Bumblebee without effort. Bumblebee was captured and tortured. Shatter and Dropkick kicked Bumblebee down. But unknowingly they activated his secret message. It turned out that Optimus Prime's aim of sending Bumblebee to the Earth was to rebuild their base. So Shatter and Dropkick decided to send a signal via satellites for aid. To destroy Optimus Prime. They shot and left Bumblebee for dead. At that time, Charlie arrived. She saw Bumblebee was unconscious. She decided to take a risk. Charlie electroshocked Bumblebee back to life. The first shot, the second shot, finally she succeeded. She not only saved Bumblebee's life, but also restored his memory. At the same time, the army also arrived and aimed to capture Bumblebee alive. As soon as Charlie was pushed down, Bumblebee's eyes turned red and became more brutal. He activated the battle mode. Eventually, after Charlie shouted loudly, Bumblebee also returned to his previous appearance. Shatter and Dropkick were preparing for final steps at a radio tower. Decepticon beacon was activated. Bumblebee hid Charlie carefully, then fought with Shatter and Dropkick. During the battle, Bumblebee bound Dropkick with a chain and defeated him. The army also sent more reinforcements, but they still couldn't do anything. Shatter shot them all down. At the moment, Bumblebee saw a helicopter to fall. He used all his strength to save it. Charlie climbed up the signal tower to remove Decepticon beacon. Shatter hit Bumblebee that he was no longer able to fight back. At the important moment, Charlie deactivated Decepticon Beacon. To protect her, Bumblebee destroyed a damn wall and made a choice to die with Shatter. Today's video finishes here. Follow us to watch next parts.